chapter 16, but I want to read starting at verse number 1. Amen. As you take your seat, just tell somebody, God has a master plan. This text deals with the sovereign hand of God as it relates to God choosing leaders who he wants to choose. Through the counsel of his own will, God decides whom he wants to call unto himself as leaders. The fact is, I think that sometimes we make a mistake thinking that we have something to do with whom God chooses to be leaders, when in fact we really have nothing to do with choosing God's leaders. We simply are submitting to what God has already preordained and established in his mind before the world even began. It simply is what it is. A leader is a leader because God ordains him or her to be a leader. And we really have, so leaders don't get beside themselves, we have to also understand that God also reserves the right to reject those leaders whom he at one time has called into service. Just because God has called someone into service as a leader does not mean that God cannot at some point in time remove his blessing from them as leader and ultimately reject them as leader. This is where we find ourselves in the beginning part of chapter number 16 in the book of 1 Samuel, because here in chapter 16 is something how God never moves on before he already determines what his next move is. So by the time God moves on from you, he has already chosen what he's going to do after you. Look at what he says. God tells Samuel, he says, I have provided me a king among his sons. I never saw that before, but God says, I have provided me. In other words, I make leaders for myself. I make leaders for myself. A leader's first priority must be God, not the people, but God. Now, when that priority gets out of line, then you are in danger of being rejected as a leader of God. Herein is a problem that we have. Problem is, people of God, that in many of our churches, we have people sitting under rejected leadership. Leadership which has been rejected. Rejected leadership is dangerous for the people. Notice what Samuel said. He said, God, how can I go? If Saul hear it, he will kill me. A rejected leader is a danger to the people. For a rejected leader is insecure. A rejected leader is jealous. A rejected leader is vengeful. A rejected leader holds grudges. A rejected leader likes to get back at folk. A rejected leader will kill you if he or she has the chance. And so our problem is that a lot of times we're sitting under rejected leadership. They have gotten their priorities out of whack. Their first priority at some point in time stopped being God. And they've replaced God with something else. They may have replaced God with money. They may have replaced God with fame. They may have replaced God with fortune. They may have replaced God with women. They may have replaced God with men. They may have replaced God with self-glory. And now they are out of touch with God's plan. He no longer is first priority in their lives. I will tell you the name. You got to catch this. I will tell you the name of he who you will anoint to be the next king of Israel. God said, and thou shalt anoint unto me him whom I name unto thee. In other words, God knew his name. God knew David's name. Before David was revealed, God knew David's name. Before the world knew who David was, God knew David's name. Before he was on the national stage, God knew David's name. Before anybody knew or cared anything about David, God knew his name. God knows your name. I'm so glad that God knows my name. If nobody else knows my name, God knows my name. If nobody else knows your name, God knows your name. God knew David's name. Once Samuel got himself straight, realizing he made a mistake, he was not so quick to lay hands on and anoint the next king. He walked before Samuel. Samuel looked at him, and look at what Samuel said. He said, neither hath the Lord chosen this. He didn't even use a personal pronoun to describe this man. He said, neither has the Lord chosen this. I can almost hear the contempt in the voice of God when it comes to some of the stuff we parade before him. Though we might dress it up, though we might put cologne and perfume on it, we want God to anoint this stuff. But I can see God on his high and holy throne saying, what is this? He can come to our churches and see us perform and try to act like we worship and praise it and look us square in the face and say, what? For the Lord hath not chosen this. He's looking for someone. He's not looking for a this or that. He's looking for a someone. Will you be God's someone? Will you be God? Did his thing too, you know. He maybe looked at what his brother did and said, I can do it better than him. Maybe his shoes weren't shined, or maybe he didn't have his collar turned down the right way. And so perhaps Shammah said, before I go on stage, I'm going to make myself look better than my brother. And I'm sure he got himself together, fixed himself up. Perhaps his breath was stinking, so maybe I need to brush my teeth, put some Listerine in my mouth. Maybe my brother's breath stank and it offended the prophet Samuel, so I'm going to get myself right. He walked past Samuel. Samuel said, neither has the Lord chosen this. Jesse got. Samuel said, neither has the Lord chosen this. Words, when you get through, when you get finished prancing yourself before me, trying to give me something out of your flesh, when you get through trying to give me something that you have tried to work up and work out, when you get through trying to pump me up with your gifts and talents only without being dedicated to me, when you get through trying to pass something off to me as being holy, when you get through, it's time for a new beginning. There must be another son. There must be a new beginning. We need a new beginning. Saul has taken us through some hard times. He's taken us through hell, and it's time for a new beginning. He's led us down the wrong path, and he's gotten the nation off course. There must be a new beginning. Therefore, there's got to be. Are you what God is looking for? Are you the new beginning? Are you the eighth son? That when God calls a leader, he makes sure his spirit is with him. The spirit is with you in the good times. The spirit is with you in the bad times. The spirit is with you on the mountaintop. The spirit is with you in the valley low. The spirit is with you when they love you. The spirit is with you when they hate you. The spirit is with you when they're for the vision. The spirit is with you. I'm so glad it's your master plan. I'm so glad it's your master plan. I'm so glad this is your thing. And if it's your thing, I'm going to send you the bill because it's your bill. I'm going to send you the check. When they get on my nerves, I'm going to send you the check. When they talk about me behind my back, I'm going to send you the check. When they hold back their money, I'm going to send you the check. When they talk about my family, I'm going to send you the check. It's your master plan, not my plan. Your 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 plan, not my plan. You called me. I didn't call myself. You filled me. I didn't fill myself. It's your plan.